it's on. But when you're trying to enter the password, it isn't. And that was
So I started using these numbers,
That's
because I
why I
always kept
started
doing
using-
that.
it's not,
Out of it.
Yep.
they're not on. And it took, that's why I was fighting it.
Me
Because
too.
I thought, and stuff.
We are live.
That wasn't right. That's a long drive.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to the June 11th meeting of the Board of Riley County Commissioners. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public comment? Okay, seeing none, how about commission comments? Commissioner Ford, do you have any?
Yeah, I won't go all the way back to last Thursday. I did send some comments for Monday's meeting over. I didn't see them in the minutes.
Okay, I'll ask Cindy.
Okay. We'll start off on Monday. Hopefully everybody is safe and sound from the round of severe weather Monday night. That was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Did widespread damage in our neighborhood. I was without power for about 4 hours and still have a flooded apartment. So it's drying out. I think it'll be okay. I was a little concerned, but last night's severe weather that we just had to the top of it. Done with the severe weather. Although ironically, today marks the 18th anniversary of the EF4 tornado that came in here.
Oh, really?
And what was it? The EF2 tornado that came in 21 or 22 and knocked out our shops and campus and about took out Symphony of the Flint Hills.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Guess it's better the severe weather happened last night rather than tonight, or we can talk about that one too. But do want to give a big shout out to our emergency management services as well. I know I had the incident up in Riley a few weeks ago, but I think overall they do a pretty good job of keeping everybody safe and protected. And we've got several different mediums and avenues to get pertinent information, Everbridge, send out other warning systems. I wouldn't just rely on an outdoor system. That's what I would say. So Tuesday morning, spent some time cleaning up the water in my apartment as it flooded pretty good this time. It was standing. Also on Tuesday, I spoke with Ben Leto from Make My Move on some possible steps moving forward for us here in Riley County as we move along through our current restraints, which we're already through. They're going to go back to Treasury, and they're supposed to be sending me an email, so I'll make sure everybody gets this, but they're going back through the state treasurer's office to see if they can push further for some extra funding and for several different entities, including us.
Okay.
So we may be able to do a little bit more in this round of funding before they even go after anything else. Some other areas are struggling, so they're going to see if they can shift that around to the areas that are doing good, which is us. So, worked about a half a day on Wednesday and went to see the specialists on some health issues that seem to be having. Also on Wednesday, I attended the June Board of Directors meeting. Man, I need to learn how to spell better. Manhattan Area Chamber of Commerce. This one was via Zoom. It was moved due to some items that are currently on the table and kind of working themselves through the city and elsewhere. After a call to order, a motion was made to approve the consent agenda. And the items on that consent agenda included the minutes from the April 21st meeting, finances through May 31st. Items also included statement on the Green Valley Incorporation that was done by John Connolly, as well as a statement on the EDS 3.0 district by Jason Smith. There was also a rather large discussion on data centers presented by Darren Solden, and then the US 24 corridor by Nancy Burton. Of course, they're going to have a couple of different meetings here in late June on that. We also had several updates and other events from other board members as well as the chamber staff. Later Wednesday afternoon, I attended the June meeting of NACO's Community Economic and Workforce Development, which I've been on for quite some time. After some opening remarks from our chair, Angela Connolly, commissioner from Hennepin County, Minnesota. We heard from Eric Chapman from the NACCAD. He discussed the Build America, Buy America initiative. After we did that, we had a lot of good questions on that particular. Might be one to go just take a look at. After that, we got our usual legislative update from Jared Grigas, our Associate Legislative Director from NACO, as well as Kevin Moore, the actual legislative assistant from NACO. They gave us an update on all the things happening committee-wise on Capitol Hill. Finished off with a great general discussion and then got updates from around the country. The National Expo is next month in late July in New Orleans this year. So that's where we'll meet next, but not everybody will be there. Wednesday nights, it was business after hours at RC McGraw's Bar and Grill, Call Valley Rodeo, and Q103.5 radio station. Well attended. That particular business hours brings out a lot of different people. Kind of leads up to both the rodeo, Call Valley Rodeo, and the Riley County Fair, which will be taking place next month. And that's all I've got.
Okay, Commissioner McKinley.
Tuesday morning was the Veterans Coalition meeting, which just moving on the Veterans Day Parade right now. Tuesday afternoon, met with Trent Armbrust from K-State Foundation. He was trying to sell me on the TIF for the Campus Edge project. Wednesday, we had a special law board meeting with 3 executive sessions, about an hour and a half all total.
Yeah, he was tired, very tired.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been through that before, but it doesn't happen very often.
No, it hasn't. No, it doesn't. And that was
Good.
enough for me this week.
I understand.
Well, let's see, Monday after our meeting, I did a quick lunch, then I came to the clerk's office during the committee interviewing 2 candidates for the CIO position. That night was a long one, watching and checking the intense storm that came through the area. Have another large tree down in the backyard, which is, just big around. Fortunately, it isn't in the creek, so I should be able to get out of the yard, but all available people are out cleaning up damages, so they probably won't get to mine for a while.
Yeah, I did forget to mention a buddy of mine sent me some footage of the funnel cloud as it was moving through the Lake Elbow area. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I want to give a huge shout out and a thanks to all of our employees that were out there doing the hard work. So Tuesday, I joined the interviewing committee again for 2 more candidates for the PIO position. Afterwards, went to the counselor's office to sign an emergency declaration for the storm damages that happened on Monday. Tuesday evening, I attended the monthly meeting of the Democratic Party that included a presentation, a candidate for House District 67, Brenda Bandy. She's a really good speaker, and we're getting started. Wednesday, I spent the first part of the day reviewing documents for the special law board meeting Wednesday evening. Also reviewed the agenda and documents for today's meeting, caught up on phone calls, email messages, and reviewed documents for our reorganization work session that's scheduled for today. So, but last evening, if anybody sent out emails after 5, I probably haven't got to them yet. So it was a long night. Okay, I'm done. I thank you.
Commissioner Ford, on your previous day's comments, okay, we add them to this since you weren't here at the last one.
That's fine.
We'll just add them to this one. Sounds good. For business commissioners, need a motion on the municipal advisor agreement with Greg Grenberg, Raymond James.
If I remember right, we kind of have to do that every time for something.
Each
By
one,
resolution.
do a new one
Yeah.
each time.
Okay. It's not new.
Any discussion on that?
No, it's just.
What we have to do. I move to approve the municipal advisor agreement with Greg Barenberg of Raymond James and Associates.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the municipal advisor agreement with Greg Barenberg of Raymond James and Associates. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair, please sign.
Did they get the free off FCRC that it did damage, do you know?
I don't know if it did much damage. I was driving by there when they were working on it. I
Yeah, I
didn't
went
hear
by
that
there
it
too.
did much damage.
It looked like it didn't, but there was so many limbs up there you couldn't see.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They're still getting pictures and they're gonna get an estimate
Oh.
on it, and then we'll see how much it's gonna cost and
You know,
we'll see insurance.
Ironically, when we were over there, I was looking at that tree last winter when it was kind of snowy and icy, and I was thinking to myself, it may be time to get that trimmed up so that doesn't happen again.
Well, I
Just get
assume
the
we're gonna
branches that are away from the
take down this
facility.
one out here, what's left.
I guess I hadn't seen it.
One in front of Carnegie?
Yeah,
Oh,
at
yeah.
100 years old, they don't know if they're gonna be able to save it yet.
Oh, the big one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been over there.
Oh, yeah, it's
Oh, yeah. it
sad.
was-
Yeah, 'cause they did a lot of work when they redid that to save that.
Too bad those limbs didn't go a little bit north.
Pick up in a block. But
No.
the limbs left, the only big part of the tree left is over the Carnegie.
Oh, no, that's
So
too bad.
we
Yeah.
need, I think,
Yeah,
well, one of them where it's split, you can see.
Yeah.
a Black hole in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
done.
just done.
Time to retire.
Aged out.
100-year-old elm tree is,
Mhm.
it's had its life.
It's seen a lot.
Hefty saw to get through that thing, cause
Yeah.
it is large.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think Gina Snyder posted something on downtown about the, it's 5 to 100 years, 5 to recent remodeling things on points that they worked on, and
Yeah,
then
that's
it's
too bad.
laying. I don't know how it didn't land in the street though. I mean, there's these huge limbs that are
Mhm.
long, because somebody couldn't have moved them because they were monstrous.
True. I think because that storm kind of came in more of an eastern direction than south direction, and it was kind of leaning that way. It just it snapped. It
right
just
down.
actually went that way. Got lucky on that one.
Next item, commissioners need a motion on the Riley County Employee Action Forms, Zach, Pill Sticker, volunteer firefighter, separation of service, Landon Wade, volunteer firefighter, separation of service, Macy France, new hire, seasonal labor, Parks Department.
Gonna make a motion to approve the requested employee action.
Second,
it's been moved and seconded to approve the requested Raleigh County employee action forms. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All three, please sign.
oh,
Over in the state streets where one of my daughters live, it looked like a tornado went through there, and there was still yesterday.
I just know over my neighborhood in Northview, like my side of the street, I mean, there were some small to mid-sized branches, but you get down to like Strong and Beck and Hayes down there.
Where my daughter lived.
You were.
Oh, yeah,
We
it looked
would
like a
pop
bomb
it.
went off through there too.
Yeah. It looked almost equal to or worse than that storm we had in, I guess it was early 22.
Yeah, yeah.
ours. On streets east-west and has a little bit of a slope this way. Wind was coming that way. The water was running up the street. The rain was coming down so hard and blowing it. The water was going
Really?
up the street. And we were up at
Strong wind.
almost at the top of the hill, and it's not even.
That's a
We're already
strong
kind of
wind.
flattening out, but it's still sloped this way. And I looked at that. And Jan, I said, am I seeing this right? She came, oh, it is going up the street.
Should have got a canoe out like all the kids do down here in these streets.
That happened on my road too, because I live on it.
Oh.
Hill, and it was just blowing up, and then you could see it on, going back down, but it was just.
You guys must have had an interesting night last night over there too, huh?
Fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's familiar with the basement.
I was thinking about that too.
It did. Mhm.
Everything dropped south pretty quick,
Yeah,
cause it was coming right
Yeah.
towards our house, the red stuff, and then it just kind of dropped.
Well, there were two different storms. There were yours and then the one that hit there.
and I was texting our insurance agent and John Ellerman, I'm like, okay, what's happening in Manhattan? I need to know what's happening there, trying to figure out.
It was a pretty good little storm there for a good 15 minutes. Well, it was kind of violent.
Insurance covers trees.
No, no.
Do when it hits the house.
Unless you already have insurance on them, but there's
No.
probably tree insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, that
probably-
insurance, why not?
There's a rider for everything.
I sell it to you.
Yeah, if you write the check, though.
Mhm.
Okay, commissioners, all of you like to go to the intergovernmental luncheon or not?
I'll go.
I'll go, but
We've already seen that
Rerun it.
presentation, right?
2 times already. It's okay.
It's a good time to.
I like the other
connect
stuff,
with
being able to get updates from everybody else and just, just talk to people. So it's okay.
Yeah.
people. So I'll go.
Okay, next commissioners need a motion to approve payroll and accounts payable.
I move to approve payroll and account payable for June 12th.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve payroll and accounts payables for June 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All three, please sign.
Well, we're rotating
Notice the-
around, aren't they?
Notice the grass kind of shot up over here.
Oh, yeah.
No one's mowed that for a while.
Yeah, I noticed.
Bad.
I'm wondering if the city's not gonna say, hey, guys.
Yeah, we
It's looking bad.
Yeah,
Sure,
I really noticed out there,
McCollum
it's really
mowed
not,
Oh, good.
Mhm.
it's really not much grass, it's everything else.
That's McCollum that mowed that.
so you got a place to park this morning, huh?
Yeah, it's been there. They haven't been there. Of course, with all this weather, they're not touching that roof.
Yeah, I figured.
They're gonna have to wait for a dry spell before they touch that.
I would like a ride in
Should we
that
just have
thing.
a little.
I was told that they're dealing with a little bit more foundational issues than they had originally thought, but they're doing good.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
They keep around, but
That
that wasn't
wind.
ours.
That wind was severe.
We had 3 inches.
I think I had just about just under 3.5.
And I'm
I don't know about
surprised.
last night.
I didn't think there was any, the way it was coming, this, I didn't think there would be anything in there.
Mhm.
As hard as it was blowing.
Well, part of it was just relentless for a long period of time. It just didn't let up. I was without power, like I said, for about 4 hours until about 2:30.
There's still people without.
Yeah, I
power.
know.
Mine didn't
Oh, yeah.
flicker.
Well, it flickered once and then it went off and came back on. It went off and came back off, and then it went off for permanent.
Evan, McMillan, he's still without power.
Really?
Mhm.
Seriously.
Commissioners, any changes to the minutes?
Other than the one I mentioned there, no. But
Yep, we'll add those to this today.
that'll work. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes as written from the, was it June 8th meeting of the Riley County Commission?
Second.
I'm moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the June 8th, Raleigh County Commission meetings, minutes as of June 8th. All in favor? Aye.
Tentative agendas, look, commissioners.
If I may ask on the 18th, just don't add anything else to the back half of the agenda. I've got a 1:00 appointment over in Junction City on that day, so. I think our last item is at 10:30, but it's the budget, so. We probably don't want to discuss anything after that anyway. No offense, Brittany.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, let's just skip it.
I don't think that's how that works.
Any items for next week's press conference, commissioners?
Good.
If not, you have executive session. And
Hey, Brittany. Sorry, I got our meeting for some of the chat where would be.
I do too.
yeah, so I figured.
I'll let Jacob go first.
Yeah, I'll be relatively.
No,
It is. Oh, yeah, we got it. Yeah, it says 5 o'clock. They're sitting there finally said, right spot. I look, no, it says 5. Oh, it says county, it says city. So we both jumped in.
You getting to have it.
Yeah, well, and nobody had coordinated with IT or anybody here. And so,
Oh, that made it fun.
yeah, so I'm not for sure who was supposed to do that, but then, we couldn't get
I don't know how they
online.
moved it, but.
I don't either.
Oh, the Parks meeting?
There wasn't anything going on over there when I was there.
It was closed and locked up.
But everyone-
City.
Yeah, I went there and how do I get in?
Yeah, I know they moved from the Keats Park to the conference room with the public works.
Oh, so maybe that was later.
I
It was.
Park.
Mary sent out an email.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't,
Oh, is that what happened?
but then also like that. I can't remember his name, Wes, isn't? The guy came Randolph. he was in that building, and I happened to see, as I drove in, I saw him go in there. So I had to go find him at the wrong building.
All right. Not a big deal here.
It was funny though. It's that rose.
Yeah.
Newspaper. All executive sessions.
Oh.
Well, she sat there for an hour, you know, she had
Uh,
to sit out there for an hour, back in, we wanted the other one. Cause that's all it was, it had some stuff to go over.
uh-huh.
Let's see if I can actually print.
How's Rob?
Printed one thing.
Good.
Good.
Are you Rich?
I'm good. I'm good.
Still sore from bailing out my window on. And I get water that spills down the hill. Fills up this window well. And so our battery backup for our sump pump died. So I take a bucket and just bail out this window. Otherwise the water's still in the basement. So
It's no fun.
No fun.
it's lots of stuff.
I have some friends that live
That's
up.
pretty,
Oh, sorry.
wasn't bad, but because we went, I mean, even a block away, there's big trees.
Really?
In the streets up there.
Yeah.
You got a lot of trees in there.
Huh?
You got a lot of trees in
But
there.
our block didn't have anything. I
Hmm.
mean, other than a little, well, there was one across the street, but it didn't fall through, it fell down in the driveway.
Yeah.
But, and it was funny because he'd been saying, you know, that thing's getting old, I probably need to get that cut down. Well. now it
Nature
is.
took care of it.
Well, how bad was it in your neck of the woods, Rich? Is it?
Tonight that's I'm doing picking up little limbs. I had one fairly good sized oak limb, but it was dead, you know, so. That's a lot of little stuff I gotta pick up, which is a pain.
Was it bad? Was it now?
No, we did not get it as bad. Because my two daughters in town, their houses got hit hard, their yards.
Looks like the pattern's fixing to shift over to summer.
Yeah, I'm about done with all this.
So you had a lot of yours survive? You
Uh,
had a lot of trees there.
Yeah, no, it was a war zone, like walking out and opening the window and there is just branches everywhere and I need to get a freaking pole saw and just go to town. Cause I mean, I hope there are no more branches that are dead that could fall. I really don't think there should be, but
Well, that's what I thought, the one from a week or two ago should have cleaned everything out.
That's just it, it just helped loosen it up for this,
Yeah,
and
but
get more
that's
moisture, you
probably
know?
made the ground even.
Because that first storm actually was 92 miles an hour. This one was like 84, but
Yeah,
think about it, that's just kind of a top
They
end.
said 100.
Category 1 hurricane. Yeah.
yeah.
They actually measured one out in the open. I think it was in Chase County at 143, but it was not next to nothing. So it was just radar indicated.
No, I saw some picture from Salina, the streets.
I didn't
just
think about
full
that,
of-
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Pretty strong E3, EF5, kind of a low end category 3 hurricane.
hurricane.
No,
Might as
actually,
well
I think
be
it
a
was a 4
hurricane instead
hurricane.
of freaking- It'll be hurricane season before long.
It already is.
Is it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They start that season like June and it goes to October or something, but the majority of that
Yeah.
happens in August and September.
Tuesday morning had veterans.
Mhm.
But it seems like our jet stream is a little bit more north, so the
Yeah,
pattern
I
has
saw that.
shifted north.
Yeah, I haven't
so
walked over
I
that
kinda
way.
might be that
Guess
bad.
I'm not
Actually, I
Drove
don't know.
around through just
Yeah.
to see what happened, and then also, thought, well, I wonder if what's happened out, you know.
I'll have to walk that way during the executive session, take stuff back to the office and check it out.
I don't remember.
It's off the, it's on, it's not the priority, because it's not on the street. It's
Right.
Blocking the sidewalk.
Oh,
but I'm
yeah.
sure there's, and I don't know how, out in the county, what they had roads they had to clear out or not.
There's underwater, like our low water
Well-
crossings, you know, probably, she's probably 5 foot underwater by now. I'm gonna go check it out on my way home tonight. I almost went before work this morning, but I didn't. I'll go check it out.
I closed off several roads.
Mhm.
Obviously Wildcat Creek kind of did its thing Tuesday
Yeah.
morning too.
Yeah, it did. I'm right, my cat's right behind my
Yeah.
house. And the mud in my yard.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna take forever
And
to
then
dry.
the other tree
Because it
over on
keeps
the
raining.
courthouse thing was a big limb.
Oh, is it easier to move it when it's still wet or is it easier to move it when it's dry?
And I can't see.
You can't see where it came
I
from?
can't see where it came
Yeah.
from, but I don't know how it could have
That's-
come
I
down
got
like
one.
that. And I just moved from a block
we can't
down
get
and
it.
landed there. It looks.
Yeah.
like a match.
Oh, yeah, it's It is a steep
Huh, I
embank
didn't
here.
see
I
much.
have to walk
I
around.
still,
the
for the
whole
life of me, don't understand why they
way
built that
back.
bridge so low.
Yeah.
We could have brought that up another
Yeah.
10 feet or so. I mean, it wouldn't solve all of it, but
Start date.
looks like it's
So
just on my way
yeah.
home the other day, it looks like it's time to maybe dredge that area again at some point.
What there is that?
Wildcat Creek.
Oh,
Get the dredging people from. Florida.
Yeah, just bring the,
Just bring that stuff over with you.
yeah. We'll make a real, we'll turn that creek into a lake.
Oh, goodness.
never happened to that great plan. Remember all those retention ponds they were gonna put on Fort Riley and
Well, the farmers wouldn't agree to that up north.
Well, with the, in the fort wood.
And the
there
fort
was a couple of
would
big
be-
ones on the fort coming in.
dark out to the
like
east.
It is over here too. I'm looking at that.
I wondered. Cause that, what was his name? The guy from Randolph was on golf board. When he came out, I mean, then they were talking about bad storms up there. He lives up there. Yeah.
I came out of the business after hours of RC McGraw's and felt like I was walking into a steam bath to start with. And I looked at the clouds and I thought, yep, something's real close. Got home and turned on WIBW and sure enough, they already had tornado warnings.
Supposed to be cooling off, cool front coming through, so.
That'd be good.
That's
Yeah,
probably gonna be the last one of the
This
summer.
morning, just walking outside.
Already 80 almost.
Yeah, and all this rain, it's humid.
I think it's supposed to be like 77 or something on Sunday, but that's probably gonna be the last of it until
I heard just
October.
before I got in my truck this morning, there was some places they said it'll be 40 when you wake up in the morning on Monday.
Yeah.
In the 40s, not 40, but in the 40s.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
I'll take that.
Oh, man, it's gotta be. High for a few days, I probably my grass.
I know some got my soybeans in because it's just been rain after rain after rain.
Are they underwater?
No, haven't even got them in though.
Oh, okay.
There's some out in our area that have been
That's what I
underwater,
saw,
we
yeah.
Need to get in.
I was looking at Brits over there, you know, and it's half in, half out.
Supposed to rain again today?
No, I think this is still part of that front kind of moving out.
Tomorrow evening it is.
I saw
With these
that.
Storms that just kind of pop up and build, you know, there's so much
Right.
moisture in the atmosphere. They
The
just
dew
blow
point's
up.
up over 70 and the humidity's about 90. So
Just kind of getting that cycle. That's what happened in 93. We just couldn't get out of that cycle. It just kept building
No
and
kidding.
building upon itself day after day.
they're starting to talk about Tuttle Creek too and making
Mhm.
some small
Nice.
release.
Well, that's what we got that mess with that guy's on Thursday morning. They said Tuttle was filling up and I saw it note from Lori that
Mhm.
I can't let it out because everything else is flooding.
Well, everyone else is in worse shape than us.
Yeah.
They say, you know, they're more full than us.
Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Who was that?
Back, huh?
Oh, we're going into the,
Yeah.
well, that kind of, I've missed a couple of the evaluations to start with. I don't know.
I think it is warm, yeah.
Two. I think Dawn and Amanda.
Oh, yes, yeah, just let me.
They are showing possible.
Yeah,
off
it's just-
today.
That's for today, Greg.
Yeah,
That's like
I
I
mean, nothing bad, but just the little spotty rains.
Like I said, on the Riley incident, I was in my truck and so I was following it real close and they said, oh, they just canceled the severe weather. And you know, like 10 minutes later, oh, tornado Riley. Yeah. There's never even a tornado warning before that.
Right.
It was interesting. Last night, both the last night's storms didn't actually put down a tornado, but you know, they had storm chasers on them and stuff, so you could see and plenty of people, including my friend, make videos.
Yeah, there was a storm chaser that sat up on the shops because he was looking to the north.
Oh, was
When I drove by there, probably-
The other interesting, and I gotta assume all TV stations are this way, but their network of monitors and cameras now, I mean, they're just everywhere. They got one on Stormont Vale and the one of, I don't remember which one, I'm gonna say Ford Hall over there at the university.
What, did you see there was some city or county that was, gonna put some regulations?
Marshall.
on-
Marshall County,
on
that was after that.
On that storm chasers, because they got in the way.
Well, there's 3,000 people stuck in a 3-county region. I mean, imagine trying to use the rural county road system to move that many people
They're
around.
asking the state to get involved and probably not a bad idea.
Ready, commissioners?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and move that the county commissioners, including Chairwoman Perky, Vice Chair Ford, and Commissioner McKinley, with Jacob Hansen, County Councilor, Attorney for the Commission, and Elizabeth Ford, Human Resource Director, recess into executive session pursuant to the non-elected personnel matters exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act in order to evaluate the performance of a department head, and the open meeting to resume in the County Commission chamber at 9:30 a.m.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for the county commission to recess into executive session for the reasons previously stated under the non-elected personnel matters exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That cadence down, burning your All right. Take a motion.
I move that the Board of County, you good? Okay, I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of County Commissioners come out of the executive session. All in favor?
Aye. Go ahead and move, there was no binding
Yeah,
action. I'll
no.
move that, the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, here to present appropriations. I know we were going to discuss this on Monday, but since Commissioner Ford was not here, we rescheduled it for today. I do have in here just some past information because we have talked about agreeing to allocate up to 1.5 mils for appropriations, which is equivalent to the 1.3 million you see reflected there. And then I gave you a breakdown of the requests that you have in front of you for 2027. And of course, you also have the appropriation request summary and what has been approved in the past additionally. So I guess at this point, extension has been approved. And I did want to note, because Commissioner McKinley had asked about it, the Konza Water Project is not actually an appropriation, but we do pay it out of economic development. And since this is a different process than how we have done it in the past with separating out appropriations, I wanted to make sure that everything still looked the same when we go back to our budget development worksheet, because that water project it's a bond payment that gets paid with economic development funds. So.
Well, but when we came up with that 1.5 mils, there's several things we don't include in that. But
Correct.
animal shelter and extension
Mhm.
and Konza, because those are really contracts. They're not,
Right.
we don't have a choice on any of those.
Mhm.
Well, I guess we could choose not to do animal shelter, but, and also I thought Riley County General hasn't been included in that number.
It hasn't been, that's just the amount.
And yeah, I'm saying, but to get to the numbers we're looking at today, and like I say, I had all those figured out and
Yeah. That's okay.
because I had a number of what I'll say one right ahead, I'd have trouble increasing chamber.
Me too.
Frankly, I assumed it was punishment for our HID.
No,
Yeah, and they haven't, 82% is ridiculous. I was thinking about reducing them down to 50.
let me make a couple comments on that. Obviously, I'm the board liaison, so I've got some other information. I actually don't have a problem with that one. We didn't want to fund it at the full 100% or the full rate. I get that, but we haven't actually increased them since 2012 or 2014. And I actually took $5,000 away from them in 2019 to fund downtown Manhattan because I thought that was an economic development interest. And obviously we're also downtown, but for two very important and strategic things. And I think, for half of that funding, I think we can make it very clear that it needs to be for rural needs. When it comes to a small business and entrepreneurial, I believe that the city of Manhattan pays a pretty good proportion of that for the city. It's nothing against the city of Manhattan. It's just the funding mechanisms are just a little bit different, but we need to make sure if we do that, that it's for rural needs only. And I think that they'll understand that. But, there's been several occasions, at least during my tenure too, where we've worked with the chamber and the chamber hasn't asked for any increase of funds because of that, or it didn't ask for any increase of funds. Well, during, when we got the CARES Act money, and that was August of 20, wasn't it, Rich? At the end of August, we basically had to the end of the year to basically expend those funds. I'm glad we're not living in those times. But we didn't have the bandwidth, we didn't have the expertise to do what was needed then. We put together a small business loan to help some of the businesses that had struggled during that time. And I remember signing paperwork. I think the Department of Ag stuff is bad. You should have seen some of the stuff we had to sign then. It was paperwork after paperwork. But in the midst of that, working with them, we managed to keep open and save 161 area businesses. Some of those are rural too, and I'm sure they could break those down if we needed to. Was quite a small timeline there. And we used their expertise, obviously, and their bandwidth to accomplish that. And they didn't ask for any increase of funds during that or any, I think it was up to 10% or something in admin costs, wasn't it, Rich, if you remember right? They took half of it and added half of it back to the business loan to help more businesses out. Obviously in 21, when we were doing the 2-cent sales tax, they did put together a committee to raise some funds to, I'm going to say help endorse that, because we couldn't do that. We could only educate and inform the public on what was going on there too. And they didn't come back and ask for any increase in funding because of that either. And I'll use a current example, the Make My Move, the Home in the Heartland grant. They're taking some administrative fees out of that, obviously, but haven't asked us to fund anything more than we're already funding on that. And that program is flourishing. That's what we should be doing with that.
Well, yeah.
But that's economic development. And I hate, with our new comprehensive plan that's in place, having a specific economic development interest, we got to start being somewhat proactive. And I think an extra $50,000 a year for military and for small business and entrepreneurship, really given the circumstances of today, isn't really all that much. And we've got to push the needle, and we're going to have to put something into it to get there, to get something back out of it. That Make My Move thing's a great example of how that has actually worked.
They have been very, very negative about the county for quite some time, and I think it's the RHID situation that we had.
Conversation I've had, they've kind of moved on from that, but
Well,
they don't agree. I absolutely admit that, but
82% is
Well, they're not-
and is way too much for an increase anyway. In today's budget.
But also to try to bring in a bunch of people to try to intimidate us. I mean, that you can let them know that did exactly
we
wrong.
did that already, but they're not the only ones to do that too. Pawnee's done that and several
Well,
other
but
ones. I mean,
but
that's.
they don't bring in they don't hire a whole room full of people to come in and try to intimidate us. And that had the exact opposite effect on me. Fair enough. Let them know that.
I appreciate that we're discussing appropriations early on. I would ask that the board not make any final decisions on any appropriations today until you see the full picture.
Right. And I think we've got the pertinent information to figure that out. And
Yeah.
kind of have an idea what that's going to look like.
We will have more conversations, but I think I would ask that if you want to give us direction on, how much you want to reduce things or anything like that, I'd be happy to adjust and bring numbers down, or if you just want to continue to work through it. I would ask that the board not make any final decisions today until you see the full picture,
What is the
Well,
full
but-
picture?
But
our entire budget.
But if we're doing that 1.5 mils, we can come to that come to that today. Because basically, and the ones that count, we have to take out 222,000 to get down to that 1.5 mils for
Mhm.
everything. And most of them, I don't have a problem with. Like I said, the big one was Pawnee
Yeah.
and the Pawnee and the Chamber are the two that, and,
Emergency shelters.
but dollar wise, it doesn't.
Wise, yeah.
Percentage wise, but dollar wise, the Pawnee and
If I'm remember correctly, Emily's been kind of asking for that same amount for the last couple of years, so
Correct.
that's not off the beaten path there. Pawnee's the large one there, and while I would say they certainly do need somewhat of an increase at this point in time, trying to double that or more isn't gonna.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to understand that at some point in time too. We also do some other things with Pawnee, write off and take care of and manage one of their facilities as well. So that's I'd like to see a breakdown on that of what we actually spend on the Claflin facility at some point in time. Because when we have that discussion, we should be having that discussion as part of overall funding as well. And there's been some discussions about transferring that building, but I think they're gonna end up going a different route, so, but I don't know that for sure. I'm on their board too, so.
But in looking at it, like I said, there was 220. If to me, if you take 200 off of Pawnee, and then if you want to take 22 off of Chamber, I'd take all of it, but that takes half of their add on, and that gets us as a first as a start. That was my suggestion.
Take what off now?
If they, because like I say, to get to the 1.5 mils that she had, it takes off. We have to take off 222,000.
Total. And you
Yeah.
said,
So if I took I say took 200 off of Pawnee, that's giving them 104. That's pretty healthy step up, and then take the other 22 off of the Chamber. That's my thoughts.
emergency shelter, you think that's okay?
Yeah, I think.
Okay with her.
Gosh. Straight on ice cream, yeah.
Reflexes feel good.
I've got good ones on that, believe it or not. Sorry, it was his annoyance, not mine. I'm okay with the emergency shelter because they use the local dollars to bring in a very large federal fund. It was 150,000, it might be more now, but they're leveraging that to bring that in, and we're actually only getting like 20% from the local match to get that, and that comes back into service things that we don't have to service outside of that. So for now, I can live with that. We may need to adjust it a little bit, but and I don't know.
And the Adibus the same way. They get,
Yeah,
they use that to leverage more federal and state funds from that.
and really, you know, with the situation with buses and gas and
Yeah,
7,000 probably doesn't really even cover it, to be honest with you. So.
So I heard take 200,000 off of Pawnee and $22,000 off Chamber. Is there an agreement?
No, I would actually rather wait and see how all these numbers line
Well-
out, because that 1.5 is gonna adjust a little bit, but in
Well, but
terms
that
of,
was, I mean,
Um,
starting point. That's what I was thinking.
We at least have the agreement on Pawnee. Is one place, and all the others is one place to start.
I can live with the suggestion on Pawnee. I don't know that we've only increased them once that I can remember, so.
Yeah, I think.
You were going, yeah.
No, we increased. 24 was 300, 25 was 350, and 26 was 350.
Yeah, okay. That's a significant margin up there, okay. At least
Commissioner-
for now,
We
anyway, I
have
could
kept
live with
them
that.
at the same level for 2 years. 5 and 6.
Commissioner Foki, are you in agreement of reducing the Pawnee request by $200,000?
At this point, yeah.
Like I said, and like I say, this is the starting point.
Yeah.
We can see. And we get
And I like the
to
idea of doing this a
But-
little bit separately and.
get it started, because, get it down to the close to the right numbers instead of there.
Yeah, I don't like to see, even, well, for the public, somebody would look at that and say, oh my God, 86%, how can you do that?
Well, but
Or 82%, how can you do that? I mean, that's what people will look at, and as a taxpayer, I look at that, say the same thing. So-
well, you also got to look at the difference in numbers there. I mean, there's a big difference between 86% when you're dealing with 350,000 and compared to 55,000 though too. But I get your point taken, but yes.
So. Request.
So I'll remove $200,000 off of Pawnee. You guys were in agreement for everybody else except the Chamber. So I'm not going to touch the Chamber for now. We'll leave it as is, and then as we work through it, you can.
I thought we were gonna change, change the chamber.
I'm not on
We can
board
leave it
with
for
that,
now.
Then
sorry.
then I would
Like
need you
said,
guys to
wouldn't
take a
give
vote.
anything, but
No,
That's
me either,
me.
but
We can do the final. That's for now, I guess.
Okay,
because I thought you said 100,000.
That's the total there, but it's an increase of 50,000, but I kind of agree with what that's going to get spent on military affairs, and we can work collaboratively to figure out how to do small business and entrepreneurial services in the rural part of the
Well,
county.
yeah, it needs to focus on rural.
Yeah, I agree.
Development,
I agree, and
in Riley County.
Yeah. I agree. And that could be an emphasis that could be brought. I mean, we've done that with the area of the aging, focusing on meals. I mean, we can certainly sit down and have that conversation, but we're going to have to move the needle there at some point in time. And it is going to take some resources to get any kind of measurables back. It's just not going to happen by itself. That's the reality there. I don't know anybody else that could do that part any better at this point.
anything else for appropriations?
No, I think you did a good job laying this out, making it easy and digestible. And I do like the idea of kind of segregating the two. And it makes budget discussions overall each work session a little bit easier. So I think it's good.
That's why I was saying, most of this, we can get ahead of time.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's other things that we're gonna be.
And we have talked
Taking a
about
while
trying to
on that
get
one.
into a kind of consistent measurable there of how to fund appropriations effectively and
Mhm.
appropriately. So, okay.
Thank you, commissioners.
Christian, looks like you're the only chamber. Oh, nope, there's the other one. He's hiding. He's dragging.
John couldn't see.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Good to roll right in. Sure.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Good morning, commissioners. Give a couple quick updates on some economic development activity. As we noted previously, continue to work on some land for future industrial development, some of this to support prospective project, but also for future development to look at where we can do some future development in Riley County that would be job creating and capital investment and ultimately drive new jobs, new payroll, new investment, additional revenues out on the west side of the community. And so I think that's progressing. The project we're still in the running for, still working that. There are several other projects, both local expansion and recruitment projects that we're working with, looking out at that general area. And then the real update is that there's been some progress made from a land investment standpoint. And I think that's important to remember. And we're talking about private investment and potentially pretty significant private investment. And so, I think that's something that having engaged private sector, engaged business community, and ones that are willing to make those kind of investments, whether to support a project or to drive future development, is really important. And so, they consistently in this community punch above their weight, and in this region punch above their weight. And so we're appreciative of that and excited to be able to come to you here, hopefully in the very near future, with some additional project details and some future plans for what other job investment revenue generating activity can be going on out there. So I'm really excited about what that looks like in the future, because I think that's been a conversation previously about where in Riley County could projects like that go. And I think we're getting much closer to having a spot. So it's a big deal. And I think that has the potential to be very, very impactful. Tied to that is obviously there's been past conversations about Evergy and electricity, et cetera. I just want to update. This isn't specific to a certain location or Riley County specifically, but was on a call with Evergy this morning and economic developers from Kansas and Missouri, and they updated. They have something called Pathway to Power, and that that there have been some questions about that with regards to, is the number of data center projects and some of these other large user projects that are going on negatively impacting local and regional economic development. So for example, if we're looking at putting a manufacturer out, we just did Amazon project out by the airport. Torgerson is moving dirt out there in the business park west of the airport. Again, noted that we're looking at have some other prospects and looking at some other projects. Are those being negatively impacted by and the serving those or doing the engineering or the diligence necessary on the front end to attract and get those projects in the ground being negatively impacted by the fact that Evergy's putting a lot of time and effort and a lot of engineering resources into some of these big projects. And they were very clear on that call. And I think this is important, especially for communities like and regions like ours. They were very clear on that call that it's not, that they have this pathway to power process. And there's a queue for large projects in that, but the terminology they use is projects of community interest. So again, think of these are local job creating projects. This is something like a PTMW. This is something like an Amazon, like a Torgerson. Going back further, this would be something like a Florence when it went in 20 plus years ago. Projects like that are skipping that queue. So they're moving ahead. They're getting engineered. They're getting the diligence done by the Evergy folks. They're turning that around and getting that back to local communities, cities, counties, economic development agencies so that we can push forward on those projects. And so I just wanted to cover that. It's not something that's specifically come up in conversation here, but I can tell you it's something that's come up in conversation as we've worked with private property owners, developers, folks doing site selection, looking at projects. We want to make sure that it's known that Evergy is a really good partner in all of that, and they are making sure that they have a process. They've tweaked their process to ensure that those types of projects, especially in communities and regions like this, are still being served by their economic development folks and their engineering folks in a way that we can get those projects. So I think that's important to remember, especially again with some of the things on the horizon out there, out west and out around the airport. I'm excited about what the remainder of the business park, the few remaining lots out there, and the acquisition of some property that had previously been privately owned. Excited what potential that's going to have in the future, and then with new development out in that general area, what additional projects that might bring too. So again, hope to be able to talk more very soon about what specifics of those are. So let's see if you have any questions for me. I'll hand it over to Christian. I know there's a number of things going on the military front. So, all right, appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to give just some quick brief updates. As you guys all know, we are been talking about it for a year, but the large deployment is now in full effect. In fact, my brother-in-law was in town in Wichita golfing at Stag last weekend and sent me a picture of the railhead with all the tanks loaded up and stuff. And so just with that, not only is we have people leaving, but First Brigade is nearly complete with their transition on the way home. And so just a reminder, the deployments will be sustainment of the combat aviation. So you will soon see all of the helicopters at I-70 gone, and then the division staff. Last week, we had our MRC executive meeting, and we invited the new deputy garrison commander, Michelle Durgan, and welcomed her and her family back to the Flint Hills region. But I just wanted to highlight one thing that she talked about was, yes, we understand that there's a large majority of the population, soldiers that are leaving, but their families do stay. And not only do their families stay, she talked about the thousands of reservists and guards that train on the installation monthly. And so she said, they are the ones also in our communities shopping, eating, and staying, as the capacity for them to necessarily always be housed on Fort Riley doesn't happen. And so it's just, a great reminder that, there's always people training on Fort Riley. Another just quick update, the Chamber recently partnered with Fort Riley MWR to host a small business forum. We had 28 businesses who learned how to sponsor, advertise, and just partner with Fort Riley. And in fact, we are planning a day on Fort Riley with them to get businesses into Fort Riley to just kind of see everything that they have to offer and then how we can partner better. The July 1st, there is a Kansas veterans tax that was approved. So if you haven't heard, it was Kansas Statute 3606, which enables 100% service-connected disabled veterans. They are allowed to apply through the Kansas Department of Revenue. There's just some things that they do need to provide, like their residency, their honorable discharge, and their VA documentation. And that entitles them to up to $24,000 annually. Once they apply and they are approved, they will get a sales tax card that they will be able to take to businesses. And I just want to let people know that does not include vehicle, housing, tobacco, and alcohol. So like I said, just another great relief for our service members and veterans for all that they have done. And then two last things, I just want to let you guys all know that June 23rd, we are having our KEEP tour. So it's our Kansas Employment Exploration Program. It is the largest that they host in Kansas. And currently they have 27 service members and spouses that are signed up to take this tour. So it just gives them an opportunity to see our community, meet with employers, just quality of life resources, our city and county partners. And then we kick it off at the end with a social from 3:30 to 5 at the Brewing Company. We talk about this a lot, and I will continue to hit this nail on the head. But last year, we had 6 service members that actually had jobs by the time they left that social. And so, like I said, we are so excited to be able to have the opportunity to do this again. And we keep telling Cam, we're not going to cut it off. If service members want to show up at the last minute, we will continue to take them. And then the last thing that we have is this Sunday at 1:00 is our Flag Day ceremony. It is in front of City Hall, the Peace Memorial Auditorium. We do apologize that it is a 1 p.m. Ceremony. Typically, we have it in the morning, but just being respectful of Sunday and any religious activities going on. So thank you, Chair Hokie, for agreeing to speak. And we'll also have the mayor there to give a proclamation. But again, it's just to honor the American flag and the value that it represents and to help start and kick off America's 20th. So pending any questions, that is all I have. Thank you. Stay cool.
Commissioner David Adams, 10.
Get some leaves.
Oh, man, my allergies are just going nuts. Sinus pressure, just. You got any of that?
My wife, and she wondered if it's just the pressure or something, so she
Yeah.
had headaches and then they're gone, and then they're back up and up in here.
Yeah.
She thinks it's
Oh,
weather.
maybe it could. Yeah, it could be that.
She was wondering if that could, doesn't, it didn't coordinate, but it seems to coordinate with that, so she's
Yeah.
wondering if.
I ain't a doctor, but
Weather.
it sounds convincing. Sounds like it. Oh, man.
Not bad.
Mr. Vargo,
Ma'am?
did you notice?
Yeah, I did know.
Real shoes?
Oh,
Is it, so that, I was gonna say, it's still final decision yet?
It's just starting to heal, so they're gonna reevaluate in 4 weeks and then they'll make their determination.
Good deal.
But he did say I could start reading regular shoes. I need to avoid heels for.
For the rest of your life if you're smart, but other than that.
I'm not allowed to do a bunch of jumping activities.
No more dunking the basketball for you, huh? Well, if you have to, you can cut that out, huh?
In the world.
It's a touch screen.
that's right.
I know it's not.
That's good. I like it.
Oh, that's funny.
Adding on to the discussion, I forgot to bring it up with the chamber. They promote RHID and all these things to reduce our income and then ask us to give them more. It's a little bit of a conflict
Catch
there that I have a
22. I
problem.
won't argue that. I think there's other things though that you could filter those dollars to get a sizable return.
Ready for David?
Ready? Yes.
Are you gonna recess as Board of County Health?
Yes. I'll make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Commission and reconvene as the Board of County Health.
Well, second.
It's been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the Board of Health. All in favor? Aye.
Only took me 6 weeks to remember that.
It's taken-
You had a lot of other things that were more important.
It's taken us years and we don't remember.
That's a good point too.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. David Adams, the interim Health Department Director with my first monthly update of the Health Department since I have been in this role. So start off with the clinic program updates, so outreach and community engagement. The staff with the clinic, all staff really, most of the staff throughout the Health Department are participating in the community baby shower, which is tomorrow. So you'll see that throughout this document as people talk about that. So that the clinic will be there as well to provide education and information about services available for Riley County, from the Riley County Health Department. They're also going to participate in the Everybody Counts Day on August 1st. And then they have immunizations outreach events are scheduled with USD 383. So, they really do a lot and get out into the community and promote what Riley County Health Department does, but also what the clinic does, as well as helping to get people immunized or help them to track down their records so that they can get immunized. They bring a lot of different resources to bear. So part of that is with USD 383. So on July 24th, they're going to do the immunizations clinic during central enrollment. So, and then August 13th, back to school immunization clinic. And then the big one, planning is underway to restore the Oktoberfest. Now it's going to be kind of rebranded to Flutober Festival. In back to 2026, it was paused during COVID and then later resumed, but in a more modified format. And it really didn't work well with, they just tried to add some extra hours at the end of the day, but it really didn't work well with families. So they have asked that we go back to do this. And it also helps Michelle Hortzmeyer as with a public preparedness exercise.
Flutober?
Flutober.
Oh, you kind of misspelled that then.
No, it's got a T in there.
There's no T in it.
There's not.
Or a C.
That's a long ways for me to read.
Flutober.
Flutober. F-L-U-T.
No, the next one in parentheses.
The parentheses, Flutober. So, but
Arguing over not even a real word, huh?
hey, by golly, new words have to start somewhere.
Right? Is misspelling made up word.
Exactly. My point. I don't expect that to be in the dictionary's list of things to be added, so we'll just move on.
There you go. And then the clinic has been asked by the Employee Day Committee to provide flu vaccines at the County Employee Day on October 12th. So, so they have a lot going on outside of just their normal clinic. We do have a new nurse scheduled to begin employment on July 6th. This is a nurse who's going to work with, I believe our goal, and have a meeting today at noon, is to work in the clinic, but also with one of the programs. So kind of a dual shared nurse. As I've talked about in the past, there are opportunities within the health department for cross collaboration. And the supervisors and the staff are very excited about it. And this is the first step in that. Having a nurse who works in the clinic, which on the next bullet will help because we have a clinic nurse going on maternity leave. But also, as they get trained up, we'll be able to help with another program.
So that's that first step in that cross collaboration that we've talked about and how we can better perform the duties within the health department. Communicable disease, there is continue to investigate manage communicable disease cases, suspected and confirmed. The the EMR program, as you know, we paused it right after I took over in the interim position. We wanted to roll it out early in this month, but Patagonia is one who's now pushed us back because of their scheduling. So the staff are still moving forward. Next Thursday, they have a trial run of it with the staff to see how it works, see what, if there's still some bugs that need to be worked out, they can work those out. And they're doing that during staff development time. So it's not going to affect the clinic operations in any way. So working with IT, there's still a lot of data that has moved once we transition to this new program. You can't move it until then, but then you have to get it out of one file, convert it, put it into another file to upload it into the new system. So IT has been very helpful and really for that to occur seamlessly, we're really going to relying on IT, and they're aware, they're prepared, they kind of understand what we're trying to do. So childcare licensing, if you recall, this is the program where there were 4 staff overseeing 5 counties for childcare licensing. That goes away on July 1st because of funding cuts. So been working with KDHE. Letters were sent out to the facilities in these counties, letting them know that as of July 1st, they're going to have to transition, and any complaints or needs that they have or licensing has to go to the state. So that's what this bullet is about. But she's been working very good. Heather's been working very, very well with KDHE, putting the right letter together, getting it sent out, sharing it with all the partners. So they're working with several individuals on possible new school age programs in Manhattan. Boys and Girls Club, I believe, has closed or has taken a step back. I'm sorry.
They had a fire.
Well, they did. That's what it was. So we're trying to work with Cool Care Club and other options to kind of fill in that gap, if you will. And they are currently working 12 complaints across those 5 counties.
That's
That just trans over to KDHE or whoever
Yeah.
they contract with.
Yes,
Okay.
Heather really believes they'll get most of those closed. But after mid-June, the idea is for us not to take on any more of those, that if they can't get them done within that, within that 2 weeks. Because what she doesn't want is on June 30th
Yeah,
to get a bunch of complaints, and then we're doing those for free.
right.
So, but yeah, so the idea is anything after June 15th will, should go to KDHE, and then we can close out what we need to close out.
Okay, makes sense.
So, and then you have a breakdown there of what they've been doing and such. So, any questions about CCO?
Potawatomi
Right.
County's picked up, but
What's
it's
that?
not- I said Potawatomi County's picked up quite a bit on complaints. But
Mhm.
I guess that.
Yeah, I think there's 1 or 2 that are really a lot of the driving force for them.
Okay.
It's from my understanding. So.
Hmm.
Health education, community needs assessment has extended until June 30th. There's the website if you'd like to, look at it, fill out the community needs assessment. We have a new intern. She started on June 4th. She's a master's of public health student who's assisting with health education until the end of the summer. They have provided 95 lock boxes or lock bags to our community partners since January of this year. That is the bag where you put your medication in and you lock it.
Oh,
And then she had a flyer hand out a pledge, if you will.
I need one of those.
Okay, all right. I know somebody.
Okay.
So
I've got
we'll get you
stuff I
one.
need to dispose of.
So they're working to keep refilling the Save a Life stations. Currently, they provide 12 boxes of naloxone or Narcan each week between the two boxes located at Be Able and Tobacco Alley. They're creating overdose leave behind kits. They have restarted the substance misuse task force and are coordinating. And they had the first meeting that they had back here just a couple weeks ago. They had a presentation from public health analyst DJ Gehring, who kind of broke down some of what they're seeing and some of the trends and such. So
In relation to Josh?
nope,
Oh, okay.
nope. So no comment. They're also working to with the program connected with the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic, which is the new clinic there, Centerstone off of Kimball. So to help discuss their lockbox and their initiative and how they can work together. But so
Those are really good people.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So MCH or Maternal and Child Health. As I said, the community baby shower is tomorrow, Potter Hall. So this is 115 individuals. As of this morning, it was over 150.
Wow.
Was the update that I received. So that's very good turnout. A couple years ago, they had a little more. Last year was about like this, but
it rained one year.
yeah, and I don't know which year it was. May have been last year, but they're very excited. All hands on deck. Staff in the administrative offices yesterday were blowing up balloons, with those little machines and making all kinds of noise, get balloons blown up. They have 23 community partners providing education and information. And then they've had a fair number of donations as well. They continue to provide Becoming a Mom or BAM classes, Becoming a Family in Yoga on a consistent, regular schedule. So those are all grant funded and are very well received. Via Christi is kind of assumed to become a family class. They call it a little different, but it was originally taught by MCH nurse prior to her retirement. They have a good collaborative relationship with Via Christi, and so they're working, I believe, pretty well together on this. And then they have maintained community partnerships and referrals from Irwin Army, and that's actually increased. So that presence out at Irwin is a good thing, and they're seeing an uptick in that, so that's always good. They've also developed a new partnership with Pediatric Associates, so to better serve those families who have unmet social determinants of health, resulted in 5 new referrals in the first month. They really didn't know what to expect, but I think that was more than they expected. And I believe that they're going to continue to see that grow. So these are patients who are seen by their pediatrician who said, hey, you have a need, here's a resource for you. So they have 3 staff who are going to become certified in community health workers, which will then allow them to submit for more billable services. So this was an untapped potential that they identified and that they've asked that we go ahead and seek this. And so they're still hopeful to have a nurse hired for MCH. Right now, that is the one we're going to share with the clinic. And then waiting to see how things develop over the next several weeks and kind of where we go from there. But MCH is the one that is going to be collaboratively working with the clinic. PHEP program, or Public Health Emergency Preparedness. They're working with their intern Addie on some biological incident annex, working with emergency management for Everbridge to expand Everbridge and to give it more flexibility, if you will. Still working with ESF8 emergency support functions with emergency management. From the EMS side, I've talked about that, working with Robert and Lori and updating these plans. That's what she's talking about there. She's staying current on the epidemiological developments, influenza, COVID, and RSV, low levels nationwide, especially now. People are outside more. The COVID and the flu, they're not as active. One thing that she's mentioned is Argentina has a over 20% influenza rate. And they will have a large contingent here in Kansas City for FIFA. So, summer related, heat related ER visits are up as you would expect. She's reminding people to limit outdoor activity during the hottest part of the day, to take frequent breaks in the shade or air conditioning. I would add on to drink plenty of water. Not coffee, not alcohol, not soda.
What about Red Bull?
Not Red Bull. So
What about vitamin water? Zero sugar-free Powerade.
That's better than any of these other options that
I mean-
people are throwing out and booing me for.
I'm sure they had their reasons.
And she's reminding people to state that they're maintaining awareness of current international Ebola and hantavirus outbreaks. There are no outbreaks in the US, but it is something that they're watching globally.
Okay.
And then she's part of the Northeast Kansas Healthcare Coalition. So the contract with the nonprofit group that oversaw the coalitions was terminated. So KDHE and Healthcare Coalition regional committees are working to move forward to keep a new structure, but keep the healthcare coalitions alive, because they are big groups of health departments and EMS and hospitals throughout the state. So we're in the Northeast region. Those are big groups who do a lot of collaboration and a lot of education and training. Very important, but they're trying to figure out how they're going to go forward. So, and then, touch on the World Cup. Everybody knows, started today. They really don't know. I mean, they're hearing anywhere from 625,000 or 680 here to 1.2 million people. And they really don't know what to expect. They're doing a good job as far as being on the high side to be prepared. But it's also a month, so people are gonna be coming and going. Those teams may be practicing here and staying here, but they're not necessarily playing here. So, and I think that's gonna cause some difficulty. Do you want to be here and hang out where your team and your fans are, or are people gonna go to where they're actually gonna be playing? So,
With the hotel reservation list in Kansas City, I think you're looking far on the lower end of that.
yeah, that's kind of what I've heard as well. So, but so. And then Raising Riley, Camp Kindergartner is in progress at Bluemont with 30 children in attendance. And then facilitators completed a 4-week Build Your Bounce series, which provided opportunities to support and engage local childcare providers. So that's a big part of what they do, is to help the providers and make sure that the providers are safe and that the kids are getting their needs met. As far as like testing and cognitively and things such as that. They finished the spring common measures assessments. And then a new support program will be put in place at the beginning of our grant year in July. There will be an addition of direct child care provider support and education that will enhance learning environments for the kids. So and then reminded that the second Tuesday of the month is free laundry services at Such Your Duds. Raising Riley attends as a community partner and shares information about Raising Riley and provides some coloring pages for kids. WIC, student dietetics intern for the first 8 weeks of the summer. They had a dietetic students in for a workshop on June 2nd. Presentation was given. I think there were like 13 or 14 students and a couple faculty. Started breastfeeding basics classes in January, offered monthly to clients, and moved from Irwin Army Hospital to Building 210 on Fort Riley, as you know, last October. They found it to be less rules and regulations since not in a hospital, but also less visibility. So it's kind of a trade-off there. WIC is happy to continue serving the families on Fort Riley. And that is what I have. Do you have any questions for me? Thank you.
You've been really busy.
Yes,
This is a good
absolutely.
report, yeah.
Absolutely. It's been a great opportunity. I've learned a lot. So it's been fun. But I've certainly had an opportunity here that I never had before.
Well, thank you for all your work.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we recess the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll go ahead
We
and
still, did you talk about changing the time on this one, or we still want an hour?
I'll leave that to the commissioners.
if we shorten it up, or I was thinking the same thing, if we shorten it up, do we move up the reorganization discussion then too? Can we do
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay,
You
I know it's not a
can.
public hearing, but that's not my decision.
It's the board's decision.
Yeah, you have,
How
you-
much time do you need? I guess what.
Thing.
well, I think
It
it's,
take as long as you
it-
want, or.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really gonna be up to the commissioners, on how long this goes.
I guess my comment would be, are we going to have a follow-up executive session on this at a later date, or is this everything contained in this one?
It'll depend what you want to do. I mean, it also depends on your questions and
Yeah.
So my
Let's
opinion,
just-
we need to get this wrapped up as
We
soon as
could-
possible, so.
We can always extend, so we can do 30 minutes, and then if we need to extend, we can do an extension.
Okay, that works for me, okay. So we're looking at 10:50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start with that.
Okay, I'll go ahead and move that the county commissioners, including Chairwoman Pokey, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley, with Jacob Hansen, County Counselor, Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Director, Michelle Reed, Human Resource Manager, and Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, recess into executive sessions for personnel matters of non-elected personnel, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and protect the privacy of the employee or employees to discuss the conduct of employees. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 10:52 a.m.
Just 2 minutes to read that. didn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna take me another 2 minutes to get my breath back. So maybe it should be 10:54.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for the county commission to recess into executive session for the reasons previously stated under the personnel matter exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
yeah. And here, do you want us to move chairs up?
Or we could do, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I don't Okay. We still got 30 seconds.
but you guys can move.
We put it 10:50 up there.
10:52, 10:50.
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
get it changed.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and move that the county commission, Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye. Make motion to that the record reflect no binding action was taken during that executive session.
Second.
And moved and seconded that record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Once again, I'll move that the county commissioners, including Chairwoman Foki, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley, with Jacob Hansen, County Counselor, Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Director, Michelle Reed, Human Resource Manager, and Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, recessed into executive session for personal matters of non-elected personnel, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and to protect the employees, to discuss the conduct of employees, and open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 11:20 a.m.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for the county commission to recess into executive session for the reasons previously stated under the personnel matter exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and think about the rest of us?
When you treat people right, they bring you things.
Oh, I remember
It was
that.
brought to me.
Oh, okay.
Did you look at the tree? Yeah. Okay.
No, I did not, because I got Shanghai going over there
Oh,
and had a
okay.
meeting.
Commission, we are live again.
We'll move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of County Commissioners come out of the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Elizabeth, do you have anything you need opened?
We did.
Or do you have everything there? Okay.
Okay, that's what I was wondering too. Okay, I'll move the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in the executive session. All in favor? Aye. Got that.
Okay.
All right, good morning, Commissioners. Elizabeth Ward, Human Resources Director, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the organization. We had some points on our list from last time that we're going to cover today. Basically, I have 4 sections for today's conversation. I gave you the final position description that had a couple changes from last time that you had outlined, and that those were made for you to hopefully review and approve. I also handed out the final organizational chart. Again, no changes from when you saw it the previous time. I'm asking for you to please approve that to move forward. And then I will have Brittany come and talk about direction for the budget, and then Corey and John will talk about the space needs. One of the things that might be relevant for the position description discussion, I have been asked to provide the professional pay scale, which I have here. And so for reference of where we are, I also do have. This is not okay. Everything else was sent to email to you, so I'm assuming you didn't want it. One of the questions was that I got was on the pay rate. Otherwise, I don't have any standing questions on the position description.
Say that again.
Wait
Wait,
a second.
Position
On this
description,
position descriptions, you've got the pay grade of KK. And if you look
Oh,
at that,
okay, I got
that puts them basically, puts them above everyone else, which I don't agree with.
yeah.
So
So,
it
They
says no
need to be under
position.
J, I would guess.
so you can see on that pay scale where your other departments lay, right? So you can see like EMS director, the emergency services director, the new position is JJ, public works is JJ. Health department right now is II. And I do have like, wages for specific department heads, and they really range in other departments from very small departments, about 123 to your highest paid individuals are at 186 currently, but that's with years of experience, et cetera.
Based off the scale, it's not based off of
Well, and all
real
the,
numbers.
yeah, and all the department heads, it looks like most of them are at FF.
Yeah, you've got a big group in there, yep, that are FF. And of course you've got, and I didn't mention it, but you've got your county attorney and county counselor at the top there, and those are not, they're LL, so they are where they're at based on
That was the first
qualifications.
time I had comment.
Yes, needing a hat. I do have some information, which I do not have prepared, if you'd like me to bring it back to you, some information on other counties. I just got Greg's request this morning, so I didn't know we were going to talk specifically about pay rates. I apologize, but I do have rates from other counties that I can get to you. Some of them I have available now are not the larger counties, so I probably need to fill that in.
Well, and if they're the county administrator rather than the county manager,
Okay,
there's a difference between the two, the manager and the administrator.
well, we're titling this as the county administrator, and on
But I mean, when you're looking at other counties.
yeah, nope, those are all titled county administrator and have they have that role. Some of them have the role of hiring and firing. You've basically taken and held that back to the commissioners. But a lot of the other jobs are going to remain the same. So, okay. And also, if you need time, you want to think about it, you need more data, I can get that. I don't want to push you to make any decisions, but you may already have some in mind.
Well, I'm in agreement with Greg on the KK, but it needs to be lower than that.
I may mention,
It depends on the.
no, I understand, but our pool of talent that we're drawing from isn't very large. And I believe we've got some complications built into the scenario, but I'll leave that alone for the moment, but the lower it is, the less quality of a candidate you're gonna find, and quite honestly, you may not.
It's a range, and it'll depend on their experience, where they go in that range.
Like, I'm not advocating for necessarily higher pay within the position, but I understand the reality of it too.
And that, to Catherine's point, I was gonna say, the scale doesn't depend on the person. The scale depends on the job duties, so the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are required to do the job that you want.
Hmm.
Now, within that, like Greg said, there's a range. So if they come in with 1 year experience, they're on the lower end. If they come in with 10 years experience, they're gonna be close to that middle.
Yeah.
I think I have them right now in your budget that Brittany's gonna talk about at a 10-year, and it's 190 is what we're budgeting an estimate of. Does not mean that you'll fill it, because if that person doesn't have 10 years experience, you'll end up closer to that 159.
Good.
The lowest end of the KK is.
No, I'm looking at the job
160.
description of what that. Were we looking at 10
Experience,
years?
10
of
years,
experience?
yeah, progressively responsible executives.
Yeah. So basically, we're outlining that it is going to be the mid-range already.
I'm budgeting for that. Because- so you have a-
Hoping we get,
Right.
but if we don't get any,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
We've been doing that in the past. I got you.
For our non-executive positions, we always budget 3 external years experience. We want to make sure you have enough money in the budget to cover if someone would come in with experience. With what you guys have kind of talked about wanting, I've put it in at a higher number of years so that they're covered. Just for reference on what I do have here, there's only one county, and again, I need to get more counties on this, but there's only one county that has a wage under that 159,000 right now for their administrator, and that's Dickinson. Miami's at 175, Finney's at 185, Douglas is at 283.
They've got a very experienced administrator though, so.
They do,
Yeah.
and Celine is at 175. I can get you.
Celine's is 3 months?
No, a month.
yeah,
Well, when we were discussing, but that was like a month and a half
Yeah,
ago.
maybe 2.
Commissioners, if I may, just real quick, a distinction that I think I'm seeing in the position requirements is, we're requiring bachelor's with the preference of master's degree. The highest level that you guys have in front of you is the Juris Doctorate degree, which is in a more advanced degree than a master's degree. So just something to think about as well.
Right, but we also have other positions like the public works director that requires, an engineering license, and we've got, like with emergency services, they require specific training as well, and it's not the same. It's not, it's nowhere near apples to apples, but we have to in that reign or in that vein of education, they have to be able
Professional,
to get
yeah,
that.
JDs and professional degrees are similar to doctoral degrees.
Yeah, well, and that's why that's why they're at LL.
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying is this position doesn't require a doctoral degree.
No.
So that's where I'm
No.
seeing maybe a little bit of a discrepancy.
Yeah.
I guess maybe think of this in a different direction here. Based off the duties and responsibilities, how did we come up with the KK?
So based off the duties and responsibilities and market value, the way that we came up with the KK is looking at similar positions in similar, where we would kind of be our competitors and seeing what they're paying. So we put a lot of, and then also, then the art of it is putting it into our hierarchy. So if this person has authority to direct or coordinate other departments' jobs, there's some sense of saying, okay, well, in our hierarchy, they're not at the commissioners, they're in this middle level. They don't have the specialty like an engineer or the emergency services director would have, but they have that responsibility level as well, where they've got to kind of make sure that the rest of the departments are following policy, procedure, all of those things that the commissioners are creating.
But as we are, the county clerk has all those people under him right now, plus others, and they're in age. HH,
Yeah,
and why doing the same job jumps clear to KK.
well, the county clerk doesn't have the responsibility to do what you're asking the administrator to do. They have supervised finance and HR. You're absolutely right. But I don't think they've ever clearly had the authority to
But they did
enforce.
that plus other jobs, plus elections, plus everything else, and that was an HH. I don't understand why this one gets jumped, and I'll bite my tongue, but what the intentions are, but I just don't see it raising that much.
Okay, well, the intentions from human resources are to try to get you the candidate that will fill the job that you need. And if you feel like there's a different pay grade that will do that, it's your decision.
Yeah, we can try it at a JJ. We have to,
Well, like I
We
said,
may
got
or
a
may not have to
range, got a range.
well, I mean, you look at the ranges there, I mean, they're not.
It's not that
terribly
much different, but it just,
And then there's benefits on top of this, so.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But all the benefits are same throughout pay grades. It's
Yes.
based off of experience and things, but. I mean,
I'm thinking JJ, when you advertise that, do you advertise like a range or you advertise it as the low?
we advertise it as the expected hiring range. So we wouldn't advertise it all the way to the end result, which with JJ would be 240, 2.5. We would advertise it between the ranges we expect to hire someone at.
Okay, so
So
that
if
would
we're
be probably in
With that experience, with the experience that we're asking, they'd be
Yeah.
in this range,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the JJ.
Yeah, and the experience that you're asking for is the minimum. So the
Right.
experience you're asking for is what's required, and we would pay them for what they have above that.
Right, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, if we advertise the range, say the JJ range,
Mhm.
and we're not getting quality candidates, we can always change that.
We have to
Right.
close the position.
Close the position.
We have to redesign the position.
Like I
and
say,
then
we have
reopen
to
it.
put the classification on there, of what the position is.
like, I guess as I mentioned again, my fear is quality of candidate and the number of candidates. Could be greatly different. I mean, I'd love to find one for $160,000
Yeah.
plus
that's
benefits, but I just. The
not
specialty
bad, I
of this
understand.
particular position isn't a large group of people to begin with. And as I mentioned in the past, they spend a large amount of money to get the degree and the background and then get the experience to levy this position, whether it's on the public end or the private end. And, I don't think it's human nature to go, well, I'm making this much amount of money, but I'll go to Riley County for this much less.
I think
I mean,
that's a big concern of all employers.
That's
We all
the-
want to get the value for the least amount of dollars spent. And I think that your competition in this type of position is going to be other cities and counties who are paying higher rates. But there's not a lot of these jobs and there's not a lot of these candidates, so we'll have to see what we bring in.
And we can start off at a JJ and see where we go.
Is that a consensus with the board?
JJ.
Okay, second thing that I brought was the organizational chart. Do you have any thoughts or anything that you want done differently for that?
I do, but I'm not gonna beat that dead horse with a stick.
Can I get approval of the organizational chart?
Yes, me.
Yeah, that's how we had.
Okay, so that's formally approved then?
Yeah, that's all.
Nope. I'm not on board.
I
with
know
that.
you
I
want.
need a
something.
vote
Yeah.
on
We
that.
didn't vote
Yeah.
that.
We'll have to
Move to
vote on
accept the organizational chart as presented.
Second that. Been moved and seconded to approve the organizational chart as presented. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I do want to I have 2 copies here and I emailed this as well, but did you all see the example of the marketing? This is Saline County. I just wanted you to see, like, they were very excited about how they got their candidate. I would love to do something colorful, glossy, multiple page. You had asked about marketing previously. So this is one example I'd love to have your feedback on. If you want a hard copy, I emailed it to y'all, but if you
Well,
want.
I
a hard
didn't
copy-
get it till,
Let me give you a-
we were in a meeting
Yeah, of
till
course, this would
7
be like
last night.
pamphlet, it would be-
Definitely give me a copy. It looks, it's easier to understand when you're seeing this.
It
I
is.
saw the next page, I didn't get very far.
Yeah. All right, so then the next things that I have on my to-do, I'll ask Brittany to come up, but the next things are we'll look at the pay grade for the county clerk position and some policies on elected officials will be coming up. We have our next meeting on the 25th of June for reorganization.
Okay.
Okay, so Brittany, you want to get some direction on budget?
I have copies of the administration budget, which obviously just changed as salary just changed, so do not look at the personnel numbers, please. Do you need copies?
If you want to give it.
Okay.
Ma'am.
You're welcome. The pieces I want to talk about that were of concern last time. Were of course the training and registration. Being $34,000. So I'm gonna start there. Because what had happened was these expenses were put into the administration budget and also the county general. And these are expenses that the HR division has. And it's actually not even all of them because I added them up last night. And the HR expenses are $37,050. And that includes like their SHRE membership. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the clerk's budget. FSA administration fees, job board posting, drug testing, different things like that. We currently pay them out of county general, but we need direction on if you want to continue paying them out of there or if you want them in the administration budget instead.
Now, which items was that under? Was that under contractual services?
Yes, it's the training and registration.
Oh, that is-
60.
Okay.
Yeah.
34,000, wow.
Which was a
So it'll be
point,
taken out of the county general though,
yes,
on the budget.
exactly, which is why I'm asking for direction, because we did put it in both spots. And we realized that we had put it in both spots afterwards, and so that is why I'm asking for direction today. And it's, Elizabeth really wants to have the HR expenses with the administration budget. Because we need to be able to account for them. You know, I've always budgeted for them in the county general, but then we had to really start going through all these expenses and figuring out, okay, what's actually being charged to the clerk's budget and what's being charged to county general, and are we actually accounting for that? And we know that we're budgeting for these numbers, but how is it really accounted for overall?
Is that what we do with all the other departments for these things for 2560?
So you actually.
Yeah.
These charges are actually charges for every department. So this is every time we hire a new person, it's how we administrate all the benefits.
Oh,
So
okay,
these,
I get
they
you.
come out of HR, they're HR expenses, but they are for everyone else. Now, when a department has a specific thing, like for example, when we need to do CDL, every year they have to have their drug test, that can be charged back to his department. But when it's across the board, it's our Indeed recruiting, it's our FSA administrative fees, it's all of the things that we do to hire and maintain a workforce. The reason I would like it in the administrator's budget is just to clearly say that we all know these are HR.
HR is
expenses.
gonna be in this department. too.
Yeah, and I mean, they've been in
Transparency
general, but
purposes,
it's hard to
that
track.
makes sense too. So-
Yeah, exactly. So transparently, like everyone knows, these are actual HR expenses.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that makes.
They're not new though.
So they're not gonna be in the other department. heads.
Right, we would take them out of the other general.
And I'm okay with that,
Okay,
getting them in the right spot.
okay.
It wasn't in the wrong spot, I guess,
Right.
but just to clarify.
I didn't understand that was for all departments.
All
Okay,
departments,
yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do we have consensus on that?
yeah, that's.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay. Another point was cell phones. So the cell phone stipend in here is for 5 people. So it'd be the admin, the HR, both HR people, finance, and the PIO.
Yeah, I've got an issue with the admin, but we'll deal with that later.
With the administrator?
No, the admin,
Oh,
the administrative assistant.
Oh, okay.
I'm not wanting to hire that.
yeah. With that too.
My philosophy is I think we need to get the person here place
See what's
and see what they actually need instead of just putting it around them already.
It's gonna take a little while of supervision, figuring out what's gonna happen in that department, before we know who we need or what.
I've
we
noticed
need.
quite a few counties around the state that have administrators don't have that particular position. Granted, some of those are smaller counties, so maybe the duties and responsibilities are less. But if those administrators can actually do that on their own, then I think we can find one that could do that. And if we need to, look, we're gonna be changing some things along the way. This isn't just gonna be a smooth ride, so
Yeah,
we can discuss that at a later time.
So you said that's for 5. And who did you say again?
Yeah, the administrator, 2 HR people, finance and the PIO.
Okay, all right. That's-
I'm gonna take those two out, is that what?
So
we're
they'll
saying?
be coming off of
They-
clerks.
Yes, they are coming off of clerks. The clerk budget, which I know was a separate point, is going to be the county clerk. Well, you're gonna have to help me on
Oh,
stuff.
gosh, so you got
No,
county
elections are
clerk, the
separate.
deputy, oh yeah, no, deputy county clerk wouldn't be. Oh, gosh.
Well, that's Susan,
had-
that's
yeah, yeah.
elections.
It's
Yeah.
separate, yeah. It'd be we had 3 people.
Yeah.
We had 3 people budgeted for. the
AP,
separate
payroll, and
and a supervisor.
Yeah, and a supervisor.
So it'd be
that
the
is.
clerk.
I just said that because you're here, Joe, sorry.
Right, you are right,
Yeah, because he'd be the lone besides the county clerk, he'd be the main supervisor in the office now, handling the day-to-day issues since I will no longer be in there. So, it would be the clerk, Joe's position, and then
Michelle.
potentially Michelle or potentially Cindy Gabriel.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how
How
we
could I
got to
forget
3
about
people
Cindy?
for the cell phone stipend and the clerk's budget.
So technically 4 people.
3 in clerks, 5 in administration.
Yeah.
Clerk. And Cindy?
If they.
Well, we would have to figure out who. Neither one of them, that would have to be a county clerk decision. On
It's
who, yeah,
operational need. whoever
yes.
that-
So where does the other person go?
So we
No,
all.
no, they'll stay, no, we're not talking about staffing, we're talking about cell phones.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
So in
cell
our-
phone stipend only.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
we're
our-
kind of talking about 2 things on shit. I'm sorry.
Yes. And then if
You're tracking.
If
great,
there's
got
an
it.
operational need later for the clerk to ask for another one, then we could have 4,
Well, I
but we
mean-
budgeted for 3 in the clerk budget.
Per policy.
Okay,
Yeah.
but a lot on the cell phone, is that just I had a question on that too before, the cellular phone service, is that, because we reimburse, is that for the reimbursement?
Yes, that's the cell phone stipend,
Okay.
yes.
That one, okay.
And we budget at the maximum amount of the $65 per month.
Okay, and it's not like administrative, but IT takes care of any
No,
of that, okay,
No.
okay.
those are all charged to each department.
Well, I would say whatever you need to budget to follow the current policy on that. So if that's 3, then that's, I mean, if you change the policy or something later, I know that's been a discussion, then that'll adjust accordingly.
Policy is written that it's based on operational need.
Okay. Well, relay that back to the clerk and the policy that that's being done correctly, so.
Did you have something else to add?
Well, I wanted them to tell you the answer about cell phone, and then we had a conversation about admin, and so I'd
Yeah.
just like to get directions.
Yeah, the admin is.
So are you good with the cellular?
Yep,
Got
I'm
it?
good.
Okay, so commissioners, I just want to, since you talked about it, do you want me to remove the administrative assistant from the personnel budget projections for the county administrator office?
I do.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Because
Okay.
we're already adding the HR assistant. I mean, they're adding 2 positions there.
So have we really discussed that?
Well,
No, no,
yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no.
okay,
No.
just-
Nope, those are all in the.
But leave it there for now until we have the actual new position discussion, but listen here, we're creating a new position under a position that we're already creating.
I know,
And
so I can.
I'm making the recommendation, we wait to get the person and work with them and just
Yeah,
based off of what that need may or may not be.
So then, let me ask you then, if you don't have it in the budget, that person will not be able to come in and they'll have to ask for more funding. So do you want it in the budget and not filled, or do you just want me to take it out of the?
I take it out completely.
yeah.
That's
Because I think it's-
administrative assistant, but what about the HR assistant?
Well, leave it now until we have the new personnel discussion
Oh, okay.
and we can debate that, because I'm assuming that's gonna be on there.
Well, we'll need some kind of assistant in
Well,
that
but I
office.
think the HR, one person can do those 2 functions.
Something to talk about, particularly when they're in the same department, but
Yeah.
we haven't really structured what those duties and responsibilities amongst each other is going to be
Right.
yet either, so.
So I just to throw some more convolution on there, I do not have, and I don't, correct me if I misspeak here, I do not currently have the direction or permission to ask for an HR assistant in the new and expanded. Jacob has not authorized that at this point.
Yeah,
Fair enough. And so I do need to understand, I mean, we put that in there because we had talked about it as being an expectation and, you know, when the
So
supervision
then,
changed.
if you don't have that direction, why is it there to begin with?
Because that was created under the other director, when we
Yeah.
were asking for it. This director was asking for an HR assistant. This director has not approved that yet. So my point is, I need you guys to just say, do you want either of those positions
No,
there?
I
None
don't.
of the positions, any of them.
Neither one of them then.
And bring them back as a added position.
Yeah.
Bring
Okay.
one.
have that
that's a-
discussion later.
Yeah.
Okay,
So bring it potentially in a new and expanded position.
Right.
Okay, and I'll take both positions off
We'll
of.
take-
you understand what I'm saying? These two are kind of different there. I mean, we're adding an assistant to a position we haven't even developed and actually put on there yet. This one here is by itself for a department that already exists.
Yes, the HR assistant, I think the need is established. The administrative assistant is forward thinking.
Right, okay.
So yeah.
Check Rich.
Just want to be sure I get your consensus correct. The board agreed by consensus to remove the administrative assistant and the human resources assistant from the administrative department budget.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
just want to be sure I got it correct.
Thank you. So
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
right.
it, that's-
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, were there any other, there's some other things on here in the budget that, like lodging or airfare, that are a little,
Well, you do that with every department,
yes,
same
yes.
thing anyway, so why wouldn't you do that part of it here?
Lodging $8,000. Seems.
So that would
Well, we
include,
do out-of-state travel and we could say no on those
Yeah,
when they
so
come up, so.
that could include the ICMA conference for the administrator, SHRM for HR. I was going to ask for additional budget training, and then that also includes the state PIO conference. So if you want me to reduce that, I can, but I need a number on what you would recommend.
I'm not the expert on that, so I'll digress.
Things are going, airfares are out there. What do you, yeah. You know, but I would say leave that in there for now.
Leave it in there?
The trainings are important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of the things at conferences are important too, but we take it by case basis.
Yes, and if you hire an administrator who does not have a lot of experience, those trainings and that networking is vital. for
Well,
that
10 years is probably a lot of experience.
if
in
you
this.
get somebody with that experience.
Yeah, well, that's what we're asking for.
Yeah.
You know. Hopefully we're trained.
Yeah.
Even with 5 years.
Yeah, we hope that for a lot of positions, yeah.
Mhm.
But if they're less than that, they're gonna be, the salary's gonna be less, so you're gonna have more.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point.
Were there any other pieces of the administration budget that you wanted me to address, that you had questions on?
What was, and you probably said that before, I didn't, what's the other under? Contract for services, other contract services.
So that's like shredding and like any other like printing services or anything that we get that don't necessarily fall under the printing expense line. It's just anything that doesn't really fall anywhere else. So I mean, we can lower it, but again, that's also, that includes some other pieces that could potentially be with the HR as well.
What's the liability insurance? Is that for every department head or?
Every department has liability insurance,
Okay.
the workman's comp.
Which went up 11%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions that I can assist
It
with?
would, just to clarify, that number doesn't include the personnel number just yet, right?
What number?
The 1,000,000, 1.1 and some change.
It does, but
It does, it'll be.
We
It does include,
yeah,
It does,
Oh,
include it, but it,
But
well,
we're
if it's $1 million.
He was just saying that they were need changes, what you.
Right.
oh,
You'll have to
okay.
Because
She said to ignore them because they're not right.
Yeah, because
No.
you lowered the administrator pay today and you just removed 2 positions. So that's gonna change the overall impact.
Don't change it significantly.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Any other questions on this? Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Corey and John.
Voting, huh?
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So good morning again. Are we ready for us to really screw you up too now?
Yeah. Why
So-
change now?
There's some changes in here that we made assumptions that you changed, so some of these can come down a little bit, but we can try to remember to build them in. So as we went through this, we were looking at a space for 6 to 9 employees.
For what?
From our 6 to 9 employees.
Oh, okay.
From our discussion today, we're down to 5 to 7, 8, depending on HR assistants and administrative assistants. So and that's for a permanent space is what we're looking at, trying to find. So that, like, our primary objective here was to establish a permanent location for admin services department somewhere in the downtown complex, preferably in the county office building is where we were looking. So currently, we don't have a space down here anywhere big enough for that to happen right now. Yeah, so most of that would be without moving somebody out. So as we went through the strategy, we're looking at using the strategic plan that we have in place, that we're moving people around as best we can, throwing in the county administrator, admin services department, needing to go in there. So that's going to kind of alter that strategic plan a little bit. So putting some projects off and maybe speeding a couple of them is kind of what we were thinking. Some of the projects that we'll continue working on would be IT remodel and relocating over here up second floor, judicial services space, which may or may not, or could not have a problem.
We're looking at years on that at the best case scenario.
Yeah, right. So
I wouldn't even go there.
but that's a project that we're going to continue, is to study and
Yeah.
then maybe looking at where we go in the future with that.
Yeah, we don't have a place to
the health-
plan a building if we could get it.
Health department study. That is on hold for right now, but assuming once we get settled down and where that's going to be, we can start that up. And that technically is a big part of of this proposal. Is figuring out where all of the health department can be in one building, which building, and using that building to relocate others to make this work. So as we go through, the first available space we had was IT. This we kind of expect to be vacant by mid-January, as long as construction upstairs goes well. We see that as a temporary space for your administrator. About the right time they come in, there's at least 3 offices and a reception area, I guess, if you want to put it other way, available without needing minimal work. Available for the administrator. And what we had was the 2 HR positions and an admin assistant. Doing that, and also leaving finance and PIO down in the clerk's office as a temporary place to put them, still close by, but not quite preferred. But that was a temporary space that we can move until we work some other things, magic happen, I guess. The health department study, we're making a big assumption. I don't know how big or stepping out on that is that the FCRC is the building that we know everybody will fit in, or we think everybody will fit in, not necessarily the health department building itself. So a lot of this hinges on remodeling the FCRC, moving health department into it,
And then upgrading or doing something different to the health department to move maybe extension over at some point. And then taking that space for your administrative services office.
John, I had a question on that, because I saw that all the, we have all these domino things, why don't we just do what we want to do? Put the administrative office in a permanent location to start with, like, if we want to eventually put them in the extension office, move the
Where-
extension office now to wherever, and then
Wherever.
That's the part, that's the part is.
Good luck finding wherever, Dan.
Wherever right now.
they fit in public works.
No, you have what, they have 7, 8 people?
Well,
Yeah, I don't have space for 7, 8.
a couple of different thoughts that aren't on this list. Obviously, emergency management's moving out of their space here shortly into a permanent location. Would that part of the administrative offices fit in that location? I know we're gonna potentially move that,
I
but
hate to
yes.
see people.
But yeah,
but you
yes,
wouldn't have to do a whole lot of remodel just to put them in there temporary. So we're not spending a lot of money to do that.
here's the issue I have. That would be great if we could. But as we remodel FCRC, what am I doing with all those people?
I understand that, but I'm understanding in the short term to find a cheaper temporary solution, you wouldn't have to knock down walls and reconfigure a whole bunch in that location to make it work temporarily for a couple of years.
Which location?
Where emergency management is in the downstairs in the health department administrative.
But I still have to do that to move other people.
Oh, where they're over there, yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna do the FCRC remodel, move the health department into that, I need to move
need
all
all that
those
space.
employees out
Okay.
temporarily.
Well,
And
second,
that's
that's
where I
fine.
was doing that. So
second,
we can look into some other ideas.
second thought is, and this has been discussed in the past, community corrections itself isn't a great fit in its current location. Maybe we rent or lease some space for them until we figure out what we're doing with judicial and use that space up there, and then everybody's basically connected at that point in time.
That also was on there, leasing
Oh.
space for somebody
Oh,
somewhere along the line. We could do, I mean, that would also move people around.
Then you can
If
make
you
that
were
a
to-
permanent solution potentially in and itself.
Moving the administrative services into community corrections. space.
Yeah, that's a big space up there.
I mean, I think that would handle that 7, 8 people eventually, It's a matter of if we really wanted them in this building or next door, which
Doesn't.
Well, but it
Yeah,
ends up with,
his office right
yeah,
down.
I mean, they're just basically right there. With
Right.
each other, could work a little bit more compatibly and effectively.
We can look into that. I didn't know, we were trying to stay away from the extra expense of leasing in the space.
Yeah, well,
For moving people around, remodeling and all this.
You're
stuff,
gonna-
But we may have
it's gonna
a,
cost money too.
then we've got some pretty good local owners that understand what we're trying to do too, may be willing to work with us a little bit more on that as well.
okay.
I think as a start, if you would agree with that, the IT area would be a temporary location to get started while the FCRC study gets done. If you get that study done and make your decision whether you're gonna go forward or not, then we have to come back to the drawing.
How many people do you have in there currently?
Well, currently.
Do I have it currently?
Yeah, in the.
In my call center?
Oh,
GIS is in there now.
They are-
yeah,
Yeah,
He's got
they're,
bunk
they're,
desk.
they're packed in there now. I have all 8 of us, 9 of
Okay.
us in there now.
bunk beds, use the whole network.
Yeah.
Bunk workstation.
Yeah, there is no privacy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the room, but you got one room full of
Equipment.
servers and.
So
equipment,
correct. So when
that'll
we
be
move,
key.
then that room will
That
become
gives another
available as
office.
well.
We do have another office.
And the spaces
That's
are
why-
fairly large. You could do some minimal work in there that would be able to create 5 spaces that would have privacy if need be, which I would recommend. And you could have them up there while decisions are being made, because even if it's community corrections, that's gonna take a little bit to find and move and those things, we're talking about 5 months from now, 6 months from now. So things are gonna go, pretty quick, so.
I can live with that.
You're still gonna
Yeah.
need that space.
You know, we
temporary.
you
We're
can't.
not
put
gonna
out-
re,
Yeah,
sorry,
You
we're not gonna,
can't put out a job description and expect to hire somebody not having a place to put them.
So, you're in this closet for yourself.
correct.
Okay, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna.
And even the space where EM is with Conza, there are very few rooms that actually will work right now. There is work that has to be done. Because some of those were a medical room where they were seeing patients, so there are things that would not work well in that area. The other reason for, and we had a conversation with Daniel about it, and that location extension going there, a lot of what they do needs full kitchen capabilities as well, for the classes and those things that they have. So if it was first floor in that space, still would work out. The kitchen is available and so forth there. So there are options with that, but in the short term, when the hire is done and get a location in that temporary, it seems to be the IT space up there as what we have available right now that would work. So that's where we're.
So would you continue on with your remodel plan?
It would be done already, wouldn't it?
That's the idea.
Yeah.
At that point?
Yeah,
Model will be
you'll be
done.
opening bids next Thursday where we'll have our first look at when they'll project the project to be done. And so we'll see how that fits in on the timing.
That's what, when you had, because you had a pre-bid
Yes.
Yep.
today, had they given an idea of what they thought the time?
No, there was not much conversation,
Oh.
other than they want to come back and look at the space.
Is it, so on the bid form, it has a completion?
Yeah, we'll
date
have.
supply.
completion
We don't have a
dates.
completion date, they'll supply one. Okay.
And
That was
yeah,
Bruce's guess by mid-January.
Bruce knows what he's doing, so. Barring any particular delay.
So the appraiser's
Right.
office would not be able to take over that space.
Right.
Not right now.
Yeah, this
So
would-
the
this
idea,
would be
correct, would
temporary.
be that this would be the temporary for administrative services. Once the permanent is established, then they move into that permanent, then we would be back on track with the original strategic plan of where then appraiser would be able to have
And
that space.
that's what I was gonna say earlier. I don't think we have any plans for the appraisers department to move anytime in that period, so.
Yeah, nothing been drawn up
Yeah.
or decided
So
on
we're not
those
really
things.
That
coming
was
off,
just an idea.
Yeah.
off sleeve there.
Be a good solution.
I can live with that, yeah.
I think we basically talked about what was left on my
Okay.
written report, so. We could still look at those other places and doing that, but we're gonna need that direction too, if we're
Well,
looking at community.
My
corrections.
suggestion is more of a
Police.
permanent suggestion.
Extension office.
No,
I think either way, you're still gonna need the IT office as a temporary, whether it's 2 months,
I think-
6 months, or a year,
yeah,
Because of the times.
just to.
No, I think, and I had been thinking, kind of what I had been expecting to hear was that space is opening up. We can't have open spaces here. But no, I like the, I agree with your plan. I like that, it seems. At this point, in 6 months, we'll see.
Right.
It's gonna have to,
that one's probably gonna have to work for a while, even if it's uncomfortable.
that's what seems to be what we have. We need what works now and. Like I say, when the FCRC or the health department and judicial things come along that. Until we
We've
get
seen
those
the
in.
FCRC can happen, could possibly happen sooner, definitely, well, we're assuming the FCRC room remodel would happen sooner than the judicial center.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won't see that one probably.
And we don't know final study or locations for that as far as where community corrections would end up.
Yeah.
If it's in that building or they suggest somewhere else.
Okay,
Unless you want to make that decision now. I mean, and that might help when we get into the design of the judicial center.
well, I thought the prevailing thought was they would go into that building.
Yes.
So I would assume that part of the study is including them in that
Yeah.
particular space. Okay,
Yeah, it was there or maybe recommend that they not belong there. It was part of that, right? Is,
Yeah, there was questions.
There's questions.
Because I don't know how much of that health department building will extension need, or would there be room
I don't,
corrections in there also?
That was-
It's such a cut up building in there. It's hard to see how much space is really in it.
I think you could,
Correct me if I'm wrong, and we haven't gotten to a study on it, but goal eventually is to get the extension department and some potential new facilities out at Seco Park where it all matches up.
it's
So
Seco
that would
or,
be maybe,
Seco or Public Works.
well,
Yeah.
wherever we move fairground facilities, it would just make sense to have the extension department there, would it not?
Mhm.
So
I believe there.
whatever we're doing in the short term, that may be a temporary solution too.
It might be 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, my thought was that they're
Yeah.
temporary, but it's more of a long-term temporary move wherever the extension is.
So that's good.
I mean, I didn't get into whether we build or add or remodel Potter off or something else for them out at.
Now, that's kind of a
Yeah,
blip on the
there's a-
radar,
yeah,
but
there's
it'll
a lot
come
of-
up. Okay,
Worry about this, right? Yeah, yeah, I think it makes sense what you got here.
Yeah.
no.
Okay. All right.
You got any more paper to go?
No. That didn't include all the executive sessions for today.
Yeah, I would just wait.
What do we have? Do we have anything else on our agenda here? I can't even find
You
the
got-
agenda.
No, I don't think that was the last thing.
Yeah.
You or Elizabeth done?
Yes?
Did
Oh,
everything else? Okay.
yeah, I guess it is. It.
It was exploded here today.
Yeah.
Think of the trees.
I
Got plenty of them in my
I
yard.
lost my regular.
Yeah, chop them up, we'll make paper out of it.
I've got most of this down at the bottom, right? Okay,
It's in front of you there.
well, this is,
Oh,
doesn't have
yeah.
all this stuff on it.
But I don't have anything else.
I don't, I think we've done a good
Got
job
it
today. Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to adjourn the June 11th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the June 11 County Board of County